Where does a retailer need to start if they want to quote unquote mind the gap or bridge the divide between merchandising and supply chain operations?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple ways. One, it does feel like there's becoming more of a natural progression of supply chain and merchandising working together. And I think one of the biggest forcing
Hmm.
factors there is the inventory side of things. As inventory is becoming much harder to manage and allocate across all the channels, it is forcing the merchants to have a better appreciation for how does my supply chain best perform? Because I can't just order more inventory
Hmm.
across the board. I have to make sure it gets to the right place at the right time. And it is forcing some of that collaboration. What I've seen some organizations do, and where I start to see the focus start to manifest in driving improvement, is they start to align around some key metrics. So
Mm.
obviously, something like an inventory position is pretty critical. But even as you drill a level deeper on something so simple as OTIF or on time in full, and it's a metric that I think has become a little bit of a buzzword across supply chain. And most merchants are like, oh, great, OTIF, what does that mean? But the reality is
Is
that
it just the merchants? It might be the rest of us too.
sure, sure. That's absolutely fair, but it's being able to connect the value of, well, when product shows up on time and it consistently shows up on time, how much better can I have my inventory allocated
Yeah.
to the right endpoints? How can I promise inventory better to consumers online? Because I simply that simple fact of knowing it's arriving on time. And then even things like, is it coming in full? And what's so fascinating is we roll out about 100 of these programs a year at SPS across retailers where we're attempting to kind of modernize and automate their supply chain. And one of the number one things I hear from most merchants when we roll out one of the program is the data's wrong and the metrics are wrong. My fill rates aren't that bad. They can't possibly be that bad. And then we dive into it and they're like, oh no, actually that is accurate. I forgot I did cut that order with that supplier, or I forgot I did give them a 2 week extension, but because they're not focused on those metrics over time, it just creates delays in the supply chain, it creates inaccuracies, and all of that starts to compound in the ability to actually service the end consumer in the channels you need to. So I think some of it is just it's a natural forcing function that's happening now amongst these organizations. But where I've seen some really start to lean in is the pinpointing around what the metrics are that we want to focus on, and then driving that collaboration inside the organization.